Hey everyone, Zoltan here. Today I have a bit of a different project. As you know, or as most of you know, I used to be a mechanic before I started making knives. And if you're a friend of mine or have some issues, I don't have any problem helping out and looking at stuff. So this was no exception. I'm currently sitting in a C5 Corvette. That is a 2002 LS Corvette, and it has some issues. Gentleman brought it to me and nothing in this door worked. So switches, mirror adjustments, windows, nothing. Ended up finding a problem with one of the connectors pinching some wires. So I cut all those wires out that were pinched and repinned that connector with brand new ends. So that issue's taken care of. Everything in the door works now. Since then, he's also asked me to look at a couple of other things. I'm looking at the wipers. They just tend to do what they want whenever they want. And then the headlights. He has pop-up headlights in this. So one of them's popping up all the time and the other one not so much. So the plan is to replace both headlight motors so that they both pop up equally, not just one faster than the other or not at all. And then the wiper blade control board is actually integrated with the motor, so we're going to put a motor and control unit in for the wiper blades on this car. Hopefully that fixes that issue. And the last little bit was a traction control light that would come on intermittently in the dashboard. And I actually had the customer buy the all data sheets for that so I could look up the wiring. I tested power, ground, and signal coming to and from the traction control unit. Found that was all good, which leads me to believe that there's an issue inside the control unit. Now, I did go ahead and look that up and found that there is a common problem with some of the solders inside of it. So I am going to pull it apart and resolder the circuit board inside and hope for the best and save this guy some money so that he doesn't have to buy a new control unit. So we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, it's Florida, it's raining out. I decided to do the control unit first for the traction control system. I pulled it out of the car. This is what it looks like. This is the electronic side of it. There's an electronic side and a hydraulic side. The electronic side is the part that's giving us issues. So this is the part that needs fixed. I have already separated it, which was a real pain in the butt because as it turns out, somebody had already attempted this job. And there was an excessive amount of RTV and silicone just caked everywhere inside of this thing. So, I mean, you got some on the circuit board. It's just, you know, where it shouldn't be. So I'm going to do my best to try to clean that up. What I did find is that these solder connections and points in here of concern were already touched. And already attempted to be repaired. So I'm going to heat up my soldering iron to pull the old solder off of those points and put some fresh, really high-end solder in its place and hopefully connect the top of the circuit board back to the bottom of the circuit board and not give us any issues in the traction control anymore. So let's hope for the best and dig into it. Step one is really just to clean it off, and it appears that there's been some water damage to it, so I've got some rubbing alcohol, and I'm just going to try to clean the surface of this board up. And you can see this brown that's coming off. It's water stains. Temperature is very important when soldering, and especially on circuit boards. So I am going to attempt to wick off all the old solder that's not supposed to be there using a little hook bit on my soldering iron here. And then after that, I will apply some proper solder to these points and make sure they're all connected. All right, so at this point I have installed the control unit. It is down in there, attached to the hydraulic part there. That's in. I'm letting the RTV dry before I even try to start this car up, so I'm going to tackle the other stuff in the meantime. I've already taken this cowl, all that apart, pulled it out, replaced the motor for the wiper blade and the control unit for that. So that's garbage. That was so bad, I'm not surprised. Now onto the headlight motors. I've noticed you're supposed to take this top piece off, this shroud off, and sometimes even the headlight assembly itself to give you room and access to that motor. But we don't really have to, because this can manually move the motor up and down, and we really just have to take off 1, 2, 3 screws and then the electrical connectors. It should be good. So let's see if we can get away with that. All right, I've got 2 headlight motors installed, 1 wiper blade motor and control unit installed, and then I did the resoldering and everything on the other traction control unit already. Now it's gonna be time to hook up my scan tool, kind of reset everything, normalize the headlights if that's a thing on the Corvette, reset and hopefully readapt the control unit using my scan tool, and then clear everything out and go from there. She was sitting for a minute, so it was a bit of a hard start. Probably just a little bit of fuel bleed down and battery drain over the time, but it's good to go. Let's do this. All right, the traction control's looking good. Let's just check the other things we were working on, starting with the lights. Up, down, fantastic. And wipers, looking good. Will they stop? Turn, fantastic. All right, good to go. Alrighty, this is looking good. This is the code that I got for the traction control unit that led us to have to go through the wiring diagrams and stuff. That was code C1218. As you can tell, it is now a history code or a stored code instead of a current one. So it appears that the problem's solved. I'm gonna go ahead and clear out the history in this car and take it for a drive, and hopefully that's all it is. Everything's working. I just got back from a test drive. The traction control warnings have gone away completely. They haven't come back yet. That's great news. That saves him, you know, hundreds if not thousands of dollars on a new computer control unit. Yeah, so the soldering the circuit board job did the trick. So I'm pretty happy about that. So is the car, and hopefully the person who owns it will be too. See you guys later.